Hey y'all, happy Thursday. I guess it's a happy Thursday. I hope it will be. um, I'm sitting here thinking everything is a blessing and a curse in life. And I have a tendency to think very broadly. Um, I am very strategic in my thought. I always think chess and not checkers. And I feel like we have been concentrating on the minor in this country for the past 6 months, well, at least the past 3 months. We've been concentrating on the minor and not the major things. And don't get me wrong, when I say the minor things, I'm talking about the Epstein case and the Epstein files. Um, I'm not dismissing what happened to those women. I'm not dismissing the perversion. I'm not dismissing the criminal acts associated with the Epstein files. However, we all know that he's in there. We all know that he's in the Epstein files. He's a convicted rapist, for God's sake. He's a convicted criminal. So there is no surprise that he is in there abusing women. He's done that since the beginning of time. And I am quite sure there are plenty other rich white men in there as well. Um, the perversion in rich white men has existed in them since the beginning of America. Since the beginning of America. In slavery, they put young slave girls in their beds and they called them bed warmers. Bed warmer was nothing but an underage slave girl that they had sex with, and they did all kinds of perverted things to. Um, and their wives looked the other way. So I'm not surprised with Megan Kelly's comments either about, oh, well, the person, she was 15, So all of a sudden, because you've hit puberty, it's okay for a grown man to sexually assault you. That thinking is wrong. The abuse of those young women is wrong. But it is a reality. It is a reality in America, and how a lot of rich, wealthy white men are made up. It's in their DNA. They're perverted. They are perverted. They can't help themselves. They think it's natural to um, perform all types of sexual perversions on young women underage, regardless of race. And we have been concentrating so much on that we haven't been concentrating on what I would consider the major, which is becoming a dictatorship country. That's the major. That's the chess move we really should have been concentrating on as a country, in my opinion. And I believe the Epstein files and holding them back and giving a little bit of information here and there and just talking about it consistently was by design for this whole Project 2025, the whole GOP administration, including the president. It was by design to do that, to distract Americans from what's really going on behind the scenes, which is moving us from a democracy to a dictatorship. And I feel like today, the major will start to come out in the news and in our lives and play out in our lives in a very major way. Um, the most recent threats to lock up Democrats, to hang them, the prince that he had from Saudi Arabia, who's a known pew pew. I mean, he's a dictator. His adulation and his worship of Putin, who again is another known dictator and murderer. So the adoration that this president has for dictators and how they rule in their countries, where women are considered nothing but property. You're nothing but a piece of ass. Let's be honest. Women in those countries are literally considered a piece of ass. You exist to create babies and for the sexual pleasure of men. Other than that, you have no purpose in their worlds. You are truly a sex slave in those countries. That's what women are. And that's what he wants to bring about here. And I feel like it's coming fast and furious. Fast and furious. So I guess all we can do is pray. That's all we can do at this point, because nobody's going to hold him accountable. The Supreme Court has clearly made it evident that this president can do whatever he wants, however he wants, whenever he wants to do it. He owns the FBI. He owns the DOJ. The last question that remains in my mind is the military. When it comes down to it, will they serve the Constitution, or will they serve the new dictator, King Trump? That's the only remaining question. That's the last piece in this puzzle. And I think we're about to find out quick and fast what's going to happen when the military is faced with that decision. I think they're already starting to be faced with those decisions. I've heard rumors that they're calling attorneys and they're asking questions about some of the orders that they're currently receiving, and how they feel concerned about it, that it may be in conflict to the oath they took to the Constitution. So I think that's beginning, but we'll see what happens. When it comes down to it, will the military follow King Trump, or will they follow the U.S. Constitution? I pray they follow the latter, the U.S. Constitution, for all our sakes, for all our sakes, for all our sakes, because America is going to be totally different, totally different. Women, we are going to be property, just like I said, a piece of ass. We're going to have no rights. I'm absolutely going to have no rights because I'm in brown skin and I'm a woman. So men of any minorities in color, you won't have any rights. Women won't have any rights. The only person that will have rights in this country are white male men. That's it. And I think included in that will even be poor white male men. They may not have the money and influence, but they'll have the white privilege. So those are my thoughts for today, y'all. I am very concerned about America and the direction that we're moving in. And for those of you who say, I don't pay attention to politics and oh, it's just rumor, your life is about to completely change. It's already changing. You see it. It's already changing with the loss of jobs, the lack of replacement of jobs, the destruction of social safety net programs, i.e. Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP benefits, housing assistance. What's the other thing they're taking away? ACA subsidies. All of the safety nets that were put into place by Franklin D. Roosevelt to help Americans when they fall on hard times are being taken away. They're being taken away. So we'll see how this plays out. But in my mind, in the game of chess, it doesn't look good today. It doesn't look good today. But keep your head up. Say your prayers. And tell the people in your life you love that you love them. That's all I can say. Be good until we chat again. Smooches.